Most men over 60 have no idea that some of the fruits they think are healthy, the ones they eat every morning, could be silently enlarging their prostate and damaging their sexual health. They're packed with natural sugars and hormone-disrupting compounds that increase inflammation in the body and swell the prostate, making you pee more often, interrupt your sleep, and even weaken your erections over time. And the worst part? These aren't rare or exotic fruits. They're sitting in your kitchen right now. I'm Dr. Blake Morgan, a board-certified urologist with over 30 years of experience helping older men fix their prostate, restore testosterone, and reclaim their bedroom confidence naturally. It's not age that's destroying your prostate. It's the silent inflammation caused by what you're eating every day. And most men are unknowingly making it worse with fruits they think are helping them. In this video, I'll show you the top 5 fruits you must avoid to protect your prostate, improve your urine flow, and keep your erections strong after 60. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button if you care about keeping your body strong and independent as you age, and comment 1 if your sleep is getting interrupted by frequent nighttime urination, or 0 if not. That way we know who's struggling and can tailor future videos to help you better. Fruit 1, grapes. You probably think grapes are a healthy snack. They're sweet, easy to grab, and they seem natural, right? But if you're over 60 and dealing with prostate problems, like getting up to pee at night, slow urine flow, or pressure down there, grapes might actually be making things worse. Especially the green, seedless grapes most people buy at the store. Let me explain. Grapes are loaded with natural sugar, especially a kind called fructose. Now, sugar from fruit isn't bad in small amounts, but too much, especially as you get older, causes trouble. That sugar can feed inflammation in the body, including your prostate. It can also raise insulin, which is a hormone that slows your testosterone. And it can lead to swelling inside the prostate, making it harder to pee. But there's another hidden problem. Most grapes you see at the store, especially the cheap, seedless ones, are sprayed with heavy chemicals and pesticides. These chemicals act like fake estrogen in your body, and that can cause your prostate to grow larger over time. So even if grapes seem clean or natural, eating too many can silently work against your health. Ron was a retired football coach, still active, still sharp, but for months he had a few issues. He was waking up 3 or 4 times a night to pee. He felt like he couldn't fully empty his bladder. His energy was low, and he had constant pressure in his lower belly. When I looked at his eating habits, the first thing that stood out. He was eating a bowl of green grapes every day. I told him, let's switch the grapes for blueberries or cucumber slices. That's it. And after just a few weeks, he felt the difference. He slept better at night. He had fewer trips to the bathroom, and he had more energy in the morning. A simple swap made a big change. If you love grapes, I'm not saying you can never eat them again, but here's how to make smarter choices. Choose grapes with seeds when you can. They have more antioxidants and fewer chemicals. If possible, buy organic grapes to avoid those hormone-disrupting sprays. Keep your portions small, no more than half a cup per day. And try to eat more berries instead, like blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, which have less sugar and more benefits for your prostate. If you need a cold snack, try frozen berries. They're cheap, tasty, and easy to find. If your prostate is swollen or giving you trouble, grapes might be playing a hidden role, especially the seedless kind soaked in pesticides. Cutting them back and switching to lower sugar, lower chemical fruits could help you sleep better, pee with less urgency, and feel more confident during the day and night. And best of all, you don't need pills or procedures, just better food. Ready for the next fruit that can quietly swell your prostate? Let's talk about canned pineapple, especially the kind soaked in syrup. Fruit 2, canned pineapple. Canned pineapple might seem like a tropical treat, something sweet and juicy to enjoy after dinner or toss into a salad. And many men over 60 think it's a better dessert option than cookies or cake. But here's what most don't realize. That innocent-looking can of pineapple could be quietly working against your prostate health, especially if it's packed in syrup. Here's why. Pineapple itself is naturally high in sugar, and when it's canned in syrup, especially the thick, heavy syrup, it's swimming in even more added sugars. This combination spikes your blood sugar quickly. When that happens repeatedly, it can lead to insulin resistance, which lowers your testosterone levels over time. And low testosterone means more estrogen dominance, which can cause your prostate tissue to swell, making bathroom trips more frequent and urgent. On top of that, the added sugar feeds chronic inflammation in your body. Inflammation is one of the sneakiest reasons the prostate enlarges. It irritates the tissue, causes it to thicken and makes it harder for you to fully empty your bladder. If you're waking up often at night to pee, struggling with a weak stream, or feeling like something is pressing on your bladder, this could be part of the reason. There's also another concern. Many canned fruits, including pineapple, are stored in containers lined with BPA, a chemical used in the lining of cans to keep them from rusting. The problem is, BPA is a known endocrine disruptor. That means it can mimic estrogen in your body and throw your hormones out of balance. In older men, that's a recipe for swelling in the prostate, lower libido, and even weight gain around the belly. Take Harold, a 68-year-old truck driver who came to see me. He was having trouble staying asleep because he was getting up 5 times a night to urinate. He also mentioned that he felt more sluggish during the day, and his wife said he was more irritable than usual. I reviewed his diet, and he told me he ate canned pineapple, straight from the can, almost every day, sometimes 2 servings. Once we removed the syrupy canned fruit and replaced it with fresh pineapple or frozen berries, his symptoms started to ease. He went from 5 nightly bathroom trips down to 2 in just a month, and his mood and energy improved too. So here's what you can do instead. If you enjoy pineapple, go for fresh, ripe slices, not the kind in a can swimming in syrup. If fresh pineapple is too expensive or hard to find, look for frozen pineapple chunks with no added sugar. They're just as tasty and they won't spike your insulin the way the syrupy kind does. And always check the label if it says in heavy syrup. Leave it on the shelf. Your prostate is a sensitive gland, especially as you age. It doesn't take much, just small daily choices to irritate it or calm it. And by simply avoiding syrupy canned fruits like pineapple, you're already taking a powerful step toward protecting your hormones, improving your sleep, and keeping your bathroom trips under control. Now let's move on to the next sneaky fruit that might be doing more harm than good, especially if you like fruit juices in the morning. Fruit 3, orange juice. For decades, orange juice has been seen as the breakfast of champions. You pour a glass first thing in the morning, thinking it's a good way to get your vitamin C and start your day right. But if you're a man over 60 and dealing with prostate issues, that daily glass of orange juice, especially the kind from a carton or bottle, might be doing far more harm than good. Here's the truth. Most store-bought orange juice, even the brands labeled 100% juice or no added sugar, is highly processed and loaded with natural sugars, usually around 6 to 8 teaspoons of sugar per glass. That's nearly the same as drinking a soda. And even though it comes from fruit, your body doesn't process it the same way as if you were eating a whole orange. When the juice is separated from the fiber, that sugar hits your bloodstream fast, causing a spike in insulin. And when insulin keeps spiking day after day, it can suppress your testosterone and encourage more estrogen, exactly the kind of hormonal shift that leads to an enlarged prostate. But that's not all. Commercial orange juice is often stored for months in giant tanks before it reaches the shelves. During that time, much of the natural flavor fades, so manufacturers add back something called flavor packs, which are chemically enhanced and not listed on the label. These flavor packs can include synthetic compounds that may act like hormone disruptors in your body, especially if you're sensitive due to age-related hormonal decline. Men with prostate issues often notice a pattern. The more sugar they consume, even from healthy sources like juice, the more inflammation they experience. And inflammation is one of the key drivers behind prostate swelling. It's like pouring fuel on a fire, except the fire is in your urinary system. That's when you start to feel that constant urge to go, or you notice your stream is weaker, or it takes longer to start peeing in the first place. Let me tell you about Henry, a retired engineer in his 70s. He always drank a tall glass of orange juice with his breakfast because he thought it was healthier than coffee. But he was waking up 3 or 4 times every night to urinate, and he felt like his bladder was never quite empty. He also had low energy and felt a little off most mornings. When we reviewed his habits, we spotted the juice immediately. We swapped his morning drink with warm lemon water and a handful of walnuts instead. Just a small change, but within a month he was sleeping longer without interruption. His urgency during the day was cut in half, and his energy came back. All because he stopped drinking that 1 glass of sugary juice. If you really love oranges, it's better to eat the whole fruit. That way you get the fiber, which slows down the sugar and helps your body absorb nutrients more naturally. And if you still want a morning drink, try squeezing half a lemon into warm water. It supports your liver, helps digestion, and won't mess with your hormones. When it comes to your prostate, think of every sip as either helping or hurting. And orange juice, especially the store-bought kind, might be one of those habits that's been secretly working against you all these years. Fruit 4, dried cranberries. At first glance, dried cranberries might seem like a smart snack. They're small, easy to chew, and people often think of cranberries as good for urinary health. You see them added to salads, trail mixes, and even morning oatmeal. But if you're over 60 and dealing with an enlarged prostate, dried cranberries, especially the kind that come in bags from the store, might be quietly making your symptoms worse instead of better. Here's why. Most dried cranberries you see on the shelf aren't just cranberries. They're cranberries that have been soaked in sugar, often more sugar than fruit. In fact, a small handful of dried cranberries can contain as much as 25 to 30 grams of sugar. That's about 6 or 7 teaspoons. And remember, this isn't natural sugar from a fresh fruit. It's concentrated sugar added during processing to make the tart cranberries taste sweet and addicting. For a man in his 60s or 70s, this kind of sugar load hits hard. It causes your blood sugar to spike, increases insulin, and triggers inflammation, all of which put extra pressure on your prostate. Sugar is one of the main fuels for inflammation, and when your body is in a constant low-grade inflamed state, your prostate can swell up like a sponge soaking in water. That's when you feel the symptoms creeping in. More urgency, weaker flow, and that frustrating sensation that your bladder never quite empties. And there's another layer to this. Many packaged dried fruits, cranberries, raisins, mango, banana chips, are treated with preservatives like sulfur dioxide to keep them looking fresh. These chemicals might not bother a younger man, but as you age and your body becomes more sensitive, these additives can irritate your gut, throw off your digestion, and in some cases even affect hormone balance. That's a hidden link most men never suspect. Gut health and prostate health go hand in hand. When one is off, the other often follows. I had a patient named Leo, age 72, who came in feeling bloated, uncomfortable, and frustrated with frequent urination. He mentioned eating dried cranberries daily, thinking they were helping his urinary tract. But when we looked closely, the ones he was eating had more added sugar than a candy bar. I had him switch to fresh, unsweetened cranberries, just a few tossed into a smoothie or cooked into oatmeal. More importantly, he replaced his sugary snacks with walnuts and slices of avocado. Within 3 weeks, his bloating was gone, his sleep improved, and his urgency dropped significantly. If you still want to enjoy dried fruits once in a while, choose unsweetened versions and keep your portion very small, about the size of your thumb. But in general, it's safer to get your fruit fresh or frozen. That way, you're getting the fiber, antioxidants, and natural nutrition without the sugar overload or hormone-disrupting additives. Your prostate doesn't need more sugar, it needs support. And that means cutting out sneaky sources like dried cranberries, raisins, and other processed fruits that pretend to be healthy but quietly fuel the very problem you're trying to solve. Next one, papaya. This fruit is often seen as a superfruit, something tropical, exotic, and healthy. It's soft, easy to digest, and many older men eat it thinking it helps with digestion or constipation. Some even mix it into their smoothies or fruit bowls every day. But here's something most people don't realize. If you're over 60 and dealing with an enlarged prostate or low testosterone, papaya might be doing you more harm than good, especially if you're eating it regularly or when it's very ripe. Let's break this down. Papaya contains compounds called phytoestrogens, plant-based substances that act like weak estrogen in the body. Now, that might not sound like a big deal at first, but as a man gets older, his natural testosterone levels already start to drop. And when estrogen-like compounds come in through food, especially on a regular basis, they can throw your hormone balance even more off track. Too much estrogen in a man's system, even the plant kind, can contribute to prostate enlargement, slower erections, lower libido, and even soft belly fat that's hard to lose. But that's not the only concern with papaya. When the fruit gets very ripe, its sugar content rises fast. That soft, almost mushy texture you get in overripe papaya means it's loaded with simple sugars. And as we've talked about before, too much sugar, even from fruit, causes inflammation, raises insulin, and can silently feed prostate swelling. The sugar and phytoestrogens in papaya together make it a risky food for older men who are trying to protect their prostate health and sexual function. Let me tell you about Joe, a retired airline mechanic in his late 60s. He was doing everything right on paper, walking every day, eating fruit instead of candy, and staying away from processed foods. But he was still waking up several times at night to urinate, and his libido had dropped sharply over the past year. When we went over his diet, I noticed he was eating papaya almost every day, a big slice with breakfast and another in the afternoon. I explained how too much of it might be adding to his hormone imbalance. We replaced it with lower sugar fruits like pears and berries, and added some healthy fats like pumpkin seeds and olive oil. Within a few weeks, his nighttime bathroom trips decreased, and he said something that stuck with me. "It feels like my body is finally calming down." Now, does this mean you should never touch papaya again? No, but it does mean moderation is key. If you enjoy it, have it only once in a while and make sure it's not too ripe. Keep your portions small and pair it with protein or healthy fat to slow the sugar absorption. Better yet, rotate your fruits. Choose those that are low in sugar and don't mess with your hormones. Things like fresh berries, kiwi, or a slice of apple with nut butter. Papaya may look like a health food, but for many older men, it quietly works against your goals. It raises estrogen-like activity in the body, spikes your sugar levels, and can feed the inflammation that keeps your prostate swollen and uncomfortable. If you've been eating it daily or think it's helping your gut, take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Your prostate might thank you for it. So, let's quickly recap the 5 fruits you should be careful about if you're over 60 and want to protect your prostate and keep your erections strong. First, grapes, especially the green, seedless ones, can sneak in too much sugar and hormone-disrupting chemicals. Then, canned pineapple soaked in syrup hides a load of added sugar that fuels inflammation. Orange juice, even when labeled natural, can flood your body with sugar and synthetic flavor chemicals that interfere with your hormones. Dried cranberries and other sweetened dried fruits are loaded with concentrated sugars and preservatives that can irritate your body and prostate. Finally, papaya, especially when overripe or eaten often, contains plant estrogens and lots of sugar that can throw off your hormone balance. The good news is this: you don't have to give up fruit altogether. Fruits are important for overall health, but choosing the right kinds, fresh berries, unsweetened fruits, and low-sugar options, and cutting back on the ones we talked about today can make a big difference. These simple changes can reduce inflammation, help your hormones stay balanced, and improve blood flow to the areas that matter most. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about making smarter choices each day. Small tweaks in your diet can lead to big improvements in your prostate health, your energy, and your confidence in the bedroom. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss my videos made especially for men over 60 who want to take control of their health naturally. And I'd love to hear from you. What's one fruit you're ready to swap out or cut back on starting today? Drop a comment below and let me know. Thanks for watching. Stay strong, stay sharp, and as always, I've got your back.